So Andrew, what we've got here is this. I've prepared for us a game that we're going to play. It's definitely on some high-end sort of software. This is not Canva or anything like that. All right, so rating political figures, okay? So here's how the game is going to work. You and I are going to give every single political figure a score out of 30, okay? We have 3 different categories, and we have to give them a score from 1 to 10.
Or are these
every
political
category.
figures or political influencers?
These are political influencers, political commentators on the right wing. These aren't mainstream media people. They're pretty much purely alternative media outside of the mainstream media, right wing conservative commentators or nominally conservative.
Are you on the list?
No, me and you aren't on the list because I'd get too high a score and you'd get too low a score.
That's fair.
And it would be embarrassing for the show.
That's fair.
Yeah. So what we have to do is give them a score out of 10 for charisma. So when we give them a score out of 10 for charisma, that just means like how likable they are, how much they can sort of land. How else would you describe charisma? How likable they are?
Charisma would be the ability to get people to like and care about the things that you do or say.
All right, cool. And then intelligence. So intelligence is how much
drawn to you, I would say.
Right.
Something like that, yeah.
And then when we talk about intelligence, we're talking about how much they know. So if you sat down with them over a number of hours and you quiz them about philosophy and history and politics and everything, how much would this person actually know about the things that you should know about being a commentator? And then debate. So debate and rhetoric. How good is this person at debating, landing a point? How good are they at convincing people about their points? So those are the 3 categories, okay?
Okay.
Every single person gets a score out of 10 for each category, and then me and you have to argue about it until we actually come up with a score out of 30 for them, and then we put them in a category, okay?
Okay.
Quietly playing game show music in the background. Let's go.
All right, so Charlie Kirk, Andrew, you have to write it down and tell me what you come up with, okay?
Okay.
You want to let people know what you're scoring them for again?
Yep.
So this is Kirk.
Charisma, intelligence, and debate. All right, so for charisma, what did you give Charlie Kirk?
Hang on. I just got my notepad out here. Hang on.
Okay,
this is a score out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got charisma.
This is highly distracting, this music.
Yeah, it's terrible, dude. Stop it, mystery. All right. So we've got charisma. I got him at 7 for charisma.
All right. I've got him at a 5 for charisma. Intelligence?
I put him at a 7 for intelligence as well.
I thought we're not allowed to put 7. Can we?
No, yeah, let's get rid of 7.
No 7s.
Oh, yeah, because we have to go up to 30. Okay, well, I just won't do 7 then. So I'll give him a 6. And on intelligence, I'll give him, I'll give him a 7 on intelligence.
Yeah.
I got to give him a 7 on intelligence.
And then I'll give him an 8 on intelligence. Debate, what are you giving him?
5.
I gave him an 8 for debate. So
what? Why? Who are the tried and true influential debaters? Name one that Charlie Kirk has taken on. One.
You're going to laugh at me,
but
he did take Hassan Piker to school a few years ago on capitalism versus socialism in a live debate.
Debater.
That is an influential
debater. Not at all.
It's an influential person.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about influential people he's talked to, right, or debated with. Name a serious, significant, skilled debater who's known as a skilled debater that Charlie Kirk has tangled with. I can't actually
Shank count? Does Shank count?
Shank counts. That's one.
Yeah.
Who else?
There aren't too many, I guess.
Walsh. He took on Walsh.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but that was pretty even.
It was pretty even, and I've crushed Walsh multiple times, right? So I would point out here. I would just say, it's not that I don't think he's a good debater, but I haven't seen him tested against great debaters, and so that's why I adjusted the score that way.
All right, so can we settle on a 6 for Charlie Kirk for debate?
I got to stick with the 5, man. If you're not tried and true, if you're not tried and true against the like really skilled debaters,
what about that commie, that twink that chuckled like a hyena the whole time?
Not a skilled debater.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
All right. Intelligence. We'll say 7 for that, and then Charisma, I reckon we go for a 6. What do you think?
Yeah, I can do a 6.
All right, cool. I'm glad we could meet halfway. So 6 plus 7, if my maths is correct, is 13. Plus 5 is 18. So Charlie Kirk gets us into the okay category in terms of political commentators. All right. Candace Owens. Get your scores in for Candace Owens, Andrew.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So charisma, I'm giving her a 7. Intelligence, I'm giving her a 5. And debate, I'm giving her a 4.
Okay. For charisma, I got 2. For intelligence, I got -2. And no, I'm kidding. Okay. For intelligence, I gave her a 7. And then for debate, I gave her a 2.
Okay.
Not a good debater. And not very charismatic, but she is intelligent.
Smoky man.
All right. So, okay, I can settle with 7 for intelligence. I can go with that. And you think 5 for charisma?
2 or 3.
We have to go with at least a 5 for charisma because she has got a big audience. You know,
that doesn't mean
a lot of people who listen to it.
Yeah, but there's a difference, right? You can get a large audience also by jockeying, rather than by being charismatic. I don't find her to be compelling or charismatic at all. Never have.
What do you mean jockeying?
And I don't think. Well, I think that you can kind of ride people's coattails or be put in political positions of power where you have a lot of forces that are kind of backing you and pushing you forward, even though you yourself are not particularly talented nor charismatic.
That's like me with the Jews. All right.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
It's all the Jews that pay me all the money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll settle on 3. Or I'll settle on 4 for charisma then. I can settle on 4 for charisma.
All right. 4 for charisma, 7 for intelligence, and then debate.
I'm not going higher than a 3.
Okay, debate 3. So 4, 7, 3 is 14. Okay. Candace Owens lands in the not good category.
Damn.
Harsh.
Yeah. Harsh.
Nick Fuentes. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so for charisma, I've given him a 9. Intelligence, I've given him an 8. And debate, I gave him a 7.
So I gave him on the charisma chart a 10. So I think he gets a perfect score on the charisma chart. He built everything he had essentially from the ground up without much in the way of backing, all on alternative media, which is very difficult to do, and has managed to keep himself relevant and stay in the game based on his own moxie. So I would say that he gets a 10 in the charisma department. He has nearly perfect recall. And because he has nearly perfect recall, he's able to pull up tons and tons of facts. You couldn't really do that unless you were extremely intelligent. So between 8 and 9 there for me. And then debate, I would put him at a 7. And the reason he doesn't get a higher score on debate, even though I think he's probably one of the better right-wing debaters around, is only because he doesn't really do much in the way of grounded philosophy. That's not part of his thing. It's mostly just he does what are called like fact-finding debates or things like this, not really any grounded philosophy. So I give him a slightly lower score on debate. There's gotchas that I've seen him fall in, though I've fallen in him too. But that's where I put him, right about there.
All right, cool. I'm happy to settle with that. 10, 9, 7, so 19, 26. Nick is the first one that falls into the elite category.
Yeah, all right. That's probably where he goes, I would say.
Yep.
As far as elite commentary goes.
Yep. All right. So Jared Taylor, a bit of a left field one. Mm-hmm. I've never spoken to you about Jared Taylor, but I'm sure you know who he is. Renaissance Society.
He gets 10s across the board. So Jared Taylor is, I would put him, his charisma. Maybe just not charisma. You know what? Charisma 8 for Jared, and then intelligence 10, debate 10. He's He's one of the most fantastic racial debaters I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's just not many people who are better than he is at conveying the points that he wants. I've seen him go on newscasts and just completely obliterate fucking the people who are there.
I covered one of his the other week on my channel. We were just going over it, and he was just steamrolling this journalist lady and doing it in the most like poised way you can imagine. So yeah, I know, I completely agree with you. Straight into the elite category.
Straight
All
into
right,
the elite
Matt
category,
Walsh. Yeah. Matt Walsh. Let's give it charisma, intelligence, and debate. All right, cool. So charisma with Matt Walsh, I've given him a 6. Intelligence, I've given him a 7, and debate, I've given him a 5.
Yeah, I got charisma at 5, intelligence at 6, and debate at 4.
All right. Are you willing to give leeway on intelligence or debate more?
I'm willing to bump him up. Well, not who's he ever debated? Anybody?
All he's really done is like the college tours, and he went on Jillian Michaels, and Jillian Michaels pretty much belted him in that debate.
That's not. He doesn't. I can't move off a debate. I am willing to up intelligence to maybe 6 or 7 though.
All right, cool. So, what did you give charisma?
5.
All right, so 5 for charisma, 6 for debate, and then 6 for intelligence, 4 for debate. That puts him at a score of 15. Matt Walsh goes in the not good category.
No way. What are we getting wrong here?
The categories are kind of harsh, but I reckon we can bump him up to a 7 for intelligence, put him at 16, put him into the okay category.
He's got to go in the okay category.
He goes in the okay category. We can't put Matt Walsh in the not good category.
Maybe I need to be a little more charitable with the numbers here.
Smoky man.
Yeah, you're being pretty mean. All right, Ben Shapiro. Intelligence and debate. All right, cool. So Ben Shapiro, I've given him a 6 for charisma, a 9 for intelligence, and an 8 for debate.
I have 8 for charisma, 9 for intelligence, 9 for debate. So you say what you want about Shapiro. He has actually done big league debates, and he's done well at them. And as far as intelligence goes, he, much like Fuentes, has extremely good memory, and he's a trained lawyer, and he's able to pull that shit up very quickly. That's why I put him at a 9. And as far as charisma goes, you have to have some kind of charisma there that people don't want to give credit for. If it's the case that you talk like this and you talk really fast and this and that, but you're one of the most satired people who are out there, he does have charisma about him. Like it or not, he does.
Yeah, exactly. There is that magnetism about him for sure, especially for people who agree with what he's saying. And he used to be a lot better with this, I found, when he was taking the piss out of himself a little bit more, and when he'd do like the gun show and everything, and when he'd do the like the rap songs and all of that, like the wet ass P word and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was actually really
so now
funny.
we're going to drop his charisma down to 6. I forgot about that shit.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about that cringe shit. I forgot about that cringe shit. I would put it charisma 6, intelligence 9, debate 9. That's my final offer.
He turned himself into a meme about making women's pussies dry.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, 6, 9, 9. Jake, that's what I got.
But don't you think that doing the cringe stuff can like sort of humanize you a little bit and make you more of
It didn't humanize him. It just made him look like an unfunny Jewish guy. That's all it did. You know, and not in the right way. Like Larry David spent his whole career doing hilarious comedy that was supposed to be unfunny in a situation. He doesn't. Shapiro tried for that. It didn't work, dude. I got 6, 9.
All right, 6, 9. I say 6, 9, 9 is your final offer. 24 puts him into the very good category.
I think that sounds right to me. He's very good.
All right, so Milo Yiannopoulos. This is an interesting one. I think we're going to have some argument about this one. Okay.
Now, we should remind the audience we're rating them based on their Is it their ability for debates or just overall?
Charisma, intelligence, debate skill.
Yeah, and debate, rhetoric is included with debate.
Okay, got it.
All right. Okay. Milo Yiannopoulos, I've given him an 8 for charisma, a 9 for intelligence, and a 7 for debate.
Bro, I got the exact same numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Exact same numbers.
I really didn't think that we were going to agree on that one, but all right, cool. All right, so 8 plus 9 is 17, plus 7 for debate is 24. He goes into the very good category. All right. I was tempted to not put Steven Crowder in because you know him, but we're going to put him in because he's a very important, obviously, political commentator. So,
okay.
Intelligence. All right. So I've given Steven Crowder an 8 for charisma, a 7 for intelligence, and an 8 for debate.
I gave him a 1, 1, and a 1.
All right.
And then I'm going to send this over to him just so he knows exactly where he stands. So I'm giving him 1, 1, 1. So he gets a 3 from me. So that's a grand total of 6. So put him exactly where he goes.
So you're going to put him in the shit kicker?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Now, how about you put your serious hat on?
Do it.
Yeah, I got him.
Andrew.
So I have him at charisma is a hard 8. He's a good comic. He's very charismatic. Mm-hmm. Intelligence, I put him at a 7. And then on the debate front, I gave him a 9. He, out of almost everybody on this list, is likely the most experienced debater. Done the most across the board debates out of maybe all of them, with the exception of Nick Fuentes and Shapiro and Taylor. I think that compared to the rest of the people we're about to get into,
I think that's fair, actually, because he has that. And all of those Change My Minds that he did were actually really sort of good as well.
He has.
They were like trailblazing.
No. Well, some people are like, Crowder hasn't really debated people. That's not true, especially in his Fox career. He was always on panel debates, and he did a really good job if you go back and watch those. So he is a good debater, and he has a good grasp of logic. So,
all right. Well, that puts Crowder into the very good category. Congratulations, Crowder. This is a big moment for his career, getting into the very good category.
Even though he's on top of everybody, like career-wise, he's on top of everybody.
Yeah, well, Shapiro could say the same thing, I guess. All right, Tucker Carlson. Mm-hmm. Very interested to see what we go with Tucker Carlson. Okay. Charisma, intelligence, debate.
All right, I got my numbers.
All right, so charisma for Tucker Carlson, I'm actually going to give him a 10.
I gave him a 9.
Intelligence, I'm giving him an 8. And then debate, I'm giving him a 6.
Okay, well, I got 9 for charisma. Intelligence is 6. And then debate, I gave him a 5.
How did you think he did against Piers Morgan and against Ted Cruz in those debates? You don't think it was like he doesn't understand the structure?
Well, those weren't really debates. One was an interview, and it had an argument back and forth, and I think he did really well there. But the opposition was not prepared for debate, so I'm not really going to work. I think he did good journalism there, but not good debating there. And as far as intelligence goes, I don't think that he has the same types of recall that a lot of these guys do. And I do think he's charismatic. He's fun to watch. So that's the important part, right? He's fun to watch. So that's a 9 from me on that. But debate and intelligence, I think, kind of middle of the road there.
All right, cool. Yeah, that kind of does make sense. All right, so we'll go 9, 7, 5 then. Okay, so that puts him at 21. It still puts Tucker in the very good category.
Yeah,
which I think is fair. Right.
We ended up look at the 2 we put in the elite.
I know. I was gonna say we
trouble for that, dude. We're gonna get in so much trouble for the 2 that we put in the elite category.
Dude, I'm looking at the rest and I'm like, surely there's someone else. We can't just.
Oh, dude, that's not.
What does that say about? What does that say about
Peterson up there too?
At all, man.
Andrew, put Jordan Peterson up there too.
Oh, okay. But I mean, in order to be in the world that they're in, you have to be able to hold your own. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to. So, yeah. All right. So Carl Benjamin, an old schooler. Interested to see what you say about Carl Benjamin. And debate.
You know, when I first got into debates, it was the internet blood sport stuff with like him and Medicare, were some of the first debates I heard. Thought they were pretty entertaining.
All right, so charisma, I've given him a 6. Intelligence, I've given him an 8, and debate, I've given him a 9.
Same. I got the exact same numbers. Charisma 6, intelligence 8, debate 9.
Wow. I thought it was premeditated. 23, that puts Carl Benjamin also into the very good category. Congratulations to Carl Benjamin.
Yeah.
All right. Jesse Lee Peterson. This is an interesting one. Jesse Lee Peterson.
He's got to be elite. He beat Destiny. He beat Walsh. He beat Hassan. He's beaten every lefty. He's like embarrassed him. Didn't he come up? Doesn't he make memes out of all of these people? He turns all these big time lefty debaters into memes. Didn't he come up with that? Isn't that a stripper's name for Destiny or something like? Wasn't that him?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So charisma, I've given him an 8. Intelligence, I've given him a 5. And debate, I've given him a 7.
Beta.
Okay. Charisma, I gave him a 6. Intelligence, I gave him a 5. And debate, I gave him a 4.
A 4 for debate. Mm-hmm. You really think so? I mean, he's not going to be able to understand arguments and be able to understand logical fallacies and how to structure an argument and all these things.
So,
but,
yeah, because he's terrible at debating. That's why.
He has his own style, though, and he doesn't exactly... The only person I've ever seen take him to school, really, was Muslim Lantern, actually. Have you ever seen him taken to school?
Mm-hmm.
Who by?
Yeah. Well, when he's engaging in actual debate rhetoric back and forth, I think that he loses more of the exchange than he wins. He does a lot of assertions rather than structured arguments. So
what did you give
on this
him
interview
charisma?
show, charisma I gave him a 6.
Intelligence,
a 5.
Intelligence?
5.
All right, we can settle on 7 for charisma.
Yeah. I can settle on 7, yeah.
Intelligence, I can settle on 5, and then I reckon debate 5.
Okay, I can settle with those numbers.
All right, that's 17, and that puts Jesse Lee Peterson into the okay category with Charlie Kirk and Matt Walsh.
Okay.
All right. Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh D'Souza. Okay, so Dinesh D'Souza, I've given him a 6 for charisma. I've given him a 9 for intelligence and a 9 for debate.
Well, I have wildly different numbers, bro.
Okay.
So I gave him a 3 on the charisma chart, a 6 on the intelligence chart, and then I gave him a 7 on the debate chart. I do think that he's a way above average debater, but I don't think that he's way above average intelligence, and I don't think he has great charisma.
But he just did that debate with Fuentes, and it was definitely evenly matched. I thought it was evenly matched. Like, I didn't think that there was like a clear winner there. I thought that he held his own well.
Yeah, okay, but
did well for his side.
What I think you have there is topic bias. So even if I were to grant, and I don't even grant it, I think that Fuentes kind of handily beat the shit out of him in that debate. But even if I didn't grant that and just said, okay, they were even in that debate, you do realize that on some debates and on some topics, you can be a little bit weaker than you are in other topics. So it could be in that particular debate, it was a stronger topic for him than other types of topics would be, because I've seen him in debates just look stupid as shit.
Really?
Many times.
I haven't seen them. Have
you ever seen him tangle with Sank? Sank mangled him on a lot of points.
Really?
Man. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. All right, cool. So we'll go down like maybe a 7 for debate. We can settle on a 7 for debate with Dinesh. He has been around, you know. The goofy smile, sort of like Indian thing. He's got a bit of charisma going on. Dinesh, he's not
charisma
totally...
very low.
All right, we'll go 4 for charisma, And I think we can settle on a 7 for intelligence.
Okay,
and a 7 for
I
debate.
can agree to that. Yeah, and 7 for debate. I can agree to that.
All right, cool. 18. That puts him in the okay category.
That's exactly where he
Dinesh.
should go. Okay, he's okay.
All right. Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles. Okay. Okay, so Michael Knowles, you're definitely going to disagree with me here. I've given him an 8 for charisma. I've given him an 8 for intelligence and a 9 for debate.
I gave him a 5 for charisma, 8 for intelligence, 8 for debate.
Okay, I wasn't expecting you to give him a high score for debate, but I have seen him. He's probably the only person I've ever.
He's a good debater.
Yeah. He's probably the only person I've ever seen actually just really wreck Alex O'Connor in a debate. And they were debating. Have you ever seen that when they were debating whether America's a Christian country?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wrecked him. So, only person I've ever seen do that. And then, what did you give him for intelligence?
8.
Okay, cool. And then charisma. Now he's got to be higher than 5 for charisma, dude. He's a charismatic guy.
No,
he's got the whole cigar thing, and he's pretty suave. And
that's the one.
People like Mike.
That's the one thing that I would disagree with. I think that he's much lower on the charisma scale because he's not relatable. He's just not a very relatable guy. I think Matt Walsh
he's like
is
the
much
Ivy
more
League
relatable.
sort of thing. Right.
Yeah, he's very Ivy League unapproachable. Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, 6 for charisma, I think, is fine, and then we're going to go 8 for debate and.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
not
cool.
giving him
8.
a 6 on charisma. I'm not moving off charisma.
All right.
I'm willing to give him a
22.
higher score on intelligence or debate, though. I'd be willing to make concession there, but I ain't coming off charisma.
All right, cool. That puts him in the very good category. I think he's a very good commentator.
I think he's very
that
good.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. It does.
Yep. All right. Jordan Peterson, Andrew. What are we going to go for Jordan Peterson? All right. So I'm giving Jordan Peterson for charisma. I'm giving him a 7. I'm giving him a 9 for intelligence and an 8 for debate.
I gave him a 8 on charisma, and then I gave him 10 on intelligence and 9 on debate.
Okay, interesting. What makes you go so high with intelligence and debate?
Well, he's debated really heavy hitters that are even outside of his league in philosophy, considering that he's a psychologist, not a philosopher. And he did stunningly well against many of these major atheists, including Sam Harris. And they've had multiple exchanges, and they consider each other to be like their nemesis in a way. And he stood toe-to-toe with those guys, and he did extremely well. So I'm just going to have to, I'm going to have to say on the charisma aspect too, he was a teacher for years. He's very relatable. He seems like exactly the kind of guy you wouldn't mind having a beer with, who would kick his feet back and be like, exactly the problem, that type of thing. I can't do the Jim Bob thing, but yeah, I think he's going to have to go in the elite category here, bro. I don't see a way around that.
I'm just going to do this, and I'm also going to put him right next to Nick Fuentes here, just where he belongs, like father and son. There you go. I'm going to put them right next to them. You little rat! They're gonna have great fun on that table over there. Nick, Jared, and Peterson. Which, all right, we'll say that after. All right, Dave Rubin. Okay, this is okay. I've given him a 3 for charisma, a 5 for intelligence, and a 3 for debate.
Okay, here's my serious analysis. On intelligence, I will give Dave Rubin a 6. On debate, I'll even concede that he's a 6. But on charisma, he gets -10.
Okay. All right.
That's 2, by the way.
Okay. Then Dave Rubin, I think, goes into the not good category with Candace Owens. That's true. All right. Well, Douglas Murray. Douglas Murray, I gave him a 7 for charisma, an 8 for intelligence, and an 8 for debate.
No way, dude. He gets. He's actually the only person here. Probably, I'm going to give straight 5s to.
Straight 5s. All right. How many of his debates have you watched?
Several. I've watched several of his debates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What don't you like about his debates? Like what's the things
so he banks too much on asserting moral argumentation when it comes to descriptors of how various countries run and things like this. So I'm not a big fan of that. I do think that he's good on foreign policy, but I also don't think that he makes compelling arguments. So, and he's not a charismatic guy, to say the least. Mediocre at best. So it's 5.55. Really, he's just mediocre. I wouldn't even put him on the list.
See, I think that he is actually quite charismatic. I've seen him speak live. I've also met him. He's a cool guy as well. I've met him when I was at the art conference in London. So he does know how to captivate an audience, and he gets a lot of views on those because he is a very, very good public speaker. So I think that there is a fair bit of charisma there. He is able to really land a plane. He has got a strong grasp of rhetoric. You have to admit he's got a strong grasp on rhetoric.
I can see this. He has a good, strong grasp of rhetoric. So I'm willing to give him in the debate category a 6 then.
Okay. So can we go 6s around the board? I think intelligence, he's written multiple best-selling books.
I can compromise on 6s across the board.
All right, cool.
So he's okay.
People are going to be losing their minds at me for pumping up Douglas Murray's tires here.
Wait, didn't he make that argument where like you can't say anything about a place if you've never been there, or is that a different guy? Am I confusing him?
Yeah, that's Where Have You Been, Mr. Bean. All right, Tim Pool.
Okay.
Tim Pool. Intelligence.
Oh,
I've gone 7s around the board for Tim Pool. 777.
I got 877.
877. What do you think he's a like charismatic 8?
Well, I remember walking out of the studio after a debate I did against Richard Spencer, and we were in Tim Pool's studio, and me and Spencer had talked the night before. We were having a beer in the lobby and just chatting about shit, and he was like, yeah, Tim Pool's kind of overrated and this and that. He wasn't really sure what to expect. And I remember walking out of the studio with him and him going, I was pleasantly surprised at what that guy does. He really knows his shit. And I was like, well, yeah, he covers the news every day. So he was able to change Spencer's mind on this. And there's a bit of moxie there. So I do give him a good 8 on charisma. I'd put him at 7 on intelligence, 7 on debate. I do think that he's better at debate than most people give him credit for, but he's not good at philosophical grounding of any kind. So,
all right, cool. 22. I'm happy to go with that score. 22. That puts him which puts him in the very good category.
Yep, very good.
Alex Jones.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So I've gone for 9 for charisma, 9 for intelligence, and 7 for debate for Alex Jones.
This is maybe lopsided, but I got 10, 10, 2. So I got 10 on charisma, 10 on intelligence, 2 on debate.
Interesting.
Alex Jones is Alex Jones is probably the funnest guy in the world to watch. Yeah. The only other guy I can think of who was as much fun to listen to as Alex Jones was Art Bell for a totally different reason.
Right.
Totally different reason. But he is probably the funnest person in the world to listen to. There's just nobody who has the same octane, the same everything, where you can't help but kind of like get into it and laugh a little bit, this type of thing. So I got to give him the 10. He gets the perfect 10 on charisma. There's just nobody who's more fun to listen to. On the intelligence side, Alex Jones knows so much shit that he actually forgets it. And then he has to recall it, right? But on debate, he has trouble referencing the jumble of files in his brain and bringing them to bear when he's in a debate. But sometimes you'll catch him. He'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember that. That was in 2004 with the blah, 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 and the Illuminati. And here's what happened there. And he'll go off. So he does have that file. You know what I mean? But he's just such a lousy debater, dude. He's such a lousy debaber. And
have you ever seen him on
he's a
Rogan
lousy
when
moderator too? He's
he sucks at moderating, dude. Terrible. Have you ever seen him on Rogan when he's like pulling out? Oh, it's like this book and it's page 344, the second paragraph. It's like, how do you know that? So yeah, I'm happy to go with the 10-10 for intelligence and charisma. That's definitely what's gotten him to where he is. But yeah, debate. The thing is, like, when we talk about debate, we're not talking about slam dunk moments against news anchors. We're talking about actually being able to ground your worldview and being able to understand philosophy and rhetoric
and
being able to,
the rhetoric of dunking on the news commentators, like all of it together. He's just not there, dude. I give him a 2.
All right. Well, that would give him a 22 anyway, so it would still put him in the very, very good category.
Yeah, but you know what? He's Alex Jones and he's a legend, so I'm going to cheat, and we're going to put him in the elite anyway.
Yeah, we'll give him a 6 for
debate. He gets the elite just because he's Alex Jones, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've been listening to that guy since I was a kid. Been listening to him forever.
Okay, well, this is the established table, the official table of political figures and where they sit. In the elite category, we have Nick Fuentes, Jordan Peterson, Jared Taylor, Alex Jones. In the very good category, we have Ben Shapiro, Milo Yiannopoulos, Steven Crowder, Tucker Carlson, Carl Benjamin, Michael Knowles, and Tim Pool. In OK, we have Charlie Kirk, Matt Walsh, Jesse Lee Peterson, Dinesh D'Souza, Douglas Murray. And in the not good, we have Candace Owens and Dave Rubin.
Honestly,
we were charitable.
Honestly, I don't. Well, Dave Rubin goes in the shit kicker category, but honestly, I don't even think. What do you guys think? I think that you guys, you probably agree with us, right? Like this is a. If I was just doing this off of intuition, I feel like I would have come up with something very similar to that list if I was categorizing them that way.
Yeah, I think so as well. All right, if this was the lunchroom in high school, everybody gets their tray, gets lunchroom. They're all sitting at tables. The elites are at a table. The very goods are at a table. The OKs and the not goods. Who are you sitting with?
Who would I sit with?
Yeah.
Don't you want to like bully the OKs? Don't you want to bully the OKs? I would probably sit with the very good category. Probably.
With the okay category, you kind of have like a lot of them are in the okay category because of the lack of charisma. So I feel like it would be a very bland. Charlie Kirk and Matt Walsh would be talking about like the various different machinations of foreign policy and stuff. And Jesse Lee Peterson would be like the sort of token black guy with Dinesh D'Souza. That'd be a kind of a boring table. And then with the very good category, you'd get like Milo and Ben Shapiro
the big thing
arguing with each other.
Yeah, the very good category, if I look to the right of Milo and Shapiro, I know Crowder, and I've drank with Crowder, and it was a blast, and he was a hell of a host. And I know for sure that I would probably have the same kind of relationship with Carlson and Benjamin and Knowles. And I know for sure with Tim Pool, I mean, Tim Pool's a friend of mine. So, you know, I've kicked back with him as well. So I just feel like I would get along with that crowd better.
Yeah, it is a good one. And I've met Carl Benjamin as well. I've been to his studio in London, done their show and interviewed him as well. And very, very cool guy, very accommodating. Definitely would get along well with him. But I'm going to have to go with the elite category. I think that it would just be too interesting to not do it. Imagine you've got the craziness of Alex Jones mixed with the sort of poised Jared Taylor, Jordan Peterson absolutely horrified with what he's hearing, and then Nick Fuentes just prodding Jordan Peterson constantly. Imagine being a fly on the wall.
Or it could be one of the most boring things you've ever seen.
It could be, yeah. It could be Jordan Peterson and Jared Taylor just finding an agreement while Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones start messing with.
I want to see a Jared Taylor versus Jordan Peterson debate. That would be epic.
That would be pretty good.
That would be epic.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Jordan Peterson, though, he's a bit unwell at the moment. Hopefully he gets better. But I think that pretty much wraps up the show.
Yeah, I think it does. Look, if you don't agree with the list, off, right? We're not perfect. We did it all just kind of off the cuff. I didn't want to show too much nepotism towards Crowder. Of course, the guy belongs in the elite category. Didn't want to show too much nepotism. I was trying to do this joke where I was dunking on him, putting him in the last category. But then Jake was like, no, be good faith. He could have been the one that was in the shit list. You know what? Put him down the shit list before we go. Okay. Put him down in the shit list. You know? You, Steven.
He's the only shit kicker.
You, Steven. You know what? You were in the very good category. Now you're in the shit. You're in the shit category because the audience. The audience did that to you. That's what
I
happens.
agree.
That's what happens, Steven.
And
Clip it,
Tim Pool's
ship
going to
it.
come eat his lunch.
Yes,
Tim
right.
Pool eats his lunch, bro.